Cool, so we have our fancy unboxing knife and we have our keyboard case here. Thank you very much to Bigme for shipping this out to me to try out. I haven't seen it anywhere else. Maybe I do need a better unboxing knife or something. I have something in mind actually. It's not a knife. And I'm excited to see. This is, by the way, this came in a case with no markings as to what it actually was in there. But it did say on the outside of the shipping box that it was the keyboard case. So it's slightly bigger, as you can see, compared to the other case. There's a nice little shiny B on the catch there. Oh no, the catch comes off again. It's not very heavy, it feels. That's interesting. Assembly and disassembly. Very incredibly reminiscent of the Boox one. Step one is have the things. Now, I always find it weird. They show this assembly like this, that you should sort of fold it up and then put it in. Now I would just think that you'd put it in the case like any other device goes into a case. Yeah, very nicely, and then you just fold it up. There we are. Go home, find something to type in. I was typing on Bigme. Good. Okay. And it does also have trackpad. Hasn't recognized me yet. Is it not in? Ah, it wasn't in. Well, that's not bad. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now I tested recently, I measured the Remarkable 2 keyboard, and the Remarkable 2 keyboard, believe it or not, was actually the same size as is the Remarkable Pro. It was the same size between the Q key and the P key, which is obviously the main typing area. The same length here on the Remarkable 2 between Q and P on my mechanical cherry board. Now this one is not that. This one is smaller than that. And so it was on the Tab Ultra C Pro. And they've done the same thing that they did on the Tab Ultra C Pro in that they've given a little bit more room to either side just to fit in a little bit more of space for keys. Whereas on Remarkable, what they did was they squeezed all these keys in to make sure the letter keys were the right size. On these two devices, which as you can see, it's almost as if they come out of the same factory, isn't it? I don't know, is this one thing that was going to be a kind of deal breaker or a deal maker for you between the Tab Ultra C Pro and the Bigme? It's not bad. It's a little bit bigger actually, is it not? Yeah, I think it is. Between the Q and the P here on the Bigme is 17.5, and on the it's the same, 17.5 centimeters. So it's exactly the same. But on the cherry board, it's like 18.5. So it's actually on a full-size keyboard, the cherry board it's 18.5. This is an excellent tape measure, by the way. It's been in the family for some time. But actually, it does also feel like you've got a little bit more room. No, it is the same sort of size, the actual vertical size of the keys. So the keys are the same, but the whole deck is a little bit larger. And when I see there's a separate function row. So that's why it's slightly larger. You've got your number keys and then you've got the function row there. So you don't need so much of a function switch there as well. So interesting. And this is really nice and clear. It seems they have definitely got something right. And that might change my opinion of it. It might do if I use that, because as I said to you earlier on, my use case is for writing. One of my main uses of e-ink is for writing. And that's in the ultra fast mode. Go to e-ink center here. I'm in custom, I'm in extreme with auto clean on. And this is really very clean and clear on here for any e-ink. If I go to default just for a moment, just to see what that's like. I now can't really see the sides of the page. If I go to balanced on here, give it the best shot. Just there, remembering where the gestures are. I would say the actual typing feel is the same. I mean, these are clearly very closely related keyboard decks. I think that the area of the trackpad is slightly bigger, but not by much. You would type and use the key in the fastest possible mode though. And yeah, actually the ghosting is pretty well controlled in there. And a lot of people have complained about the size, the heaviness of the Tab Ultra C Pro and its kind of shape for typing. And I can see actually, the Bigme B1051C is quite thin. and this keyboard case, it's a nicer snap there. And it's still pretty heavy once you've got it all told. I think it's, yeah, this is heavier. The Boox is heavier. There's no doubt about that. But the Bigme is now heavier than you really want to carry around with you everywhere with that keyboard case. But it is a bit thinner as well. It's a bit wider also. So the Bigme is on the right hand side, the Boox is on the left. What do you think about that? It's improved it in my mind. I don't know, I'd still would put it in the top 10 with that writing performance though. But the Bigme has been fine in apps. Once I actually got things like Word and other things installed, it randomly told me I couldn't install it at first. Actually, it was okay. So maybe that keyboard case, I'm not going to use it for work again for a full 2 weeks with the keyboard case, but I will use it for my kind of writer's workflow here and do a bit of writing on it. And actually, I don't dislike that. I think I've done a good job of that keyboard case. It's almost exactly the same build and materials and everything like that. There's very little difference there. However, I was talking earlier on about whether to get a separate Bluetooth keyboard instead. And I think, you know, that would be a difficult choice to make. Perhaps if the ordinary case had a vertical stand mode, it does have a horizontal stand mode that you can use. If it had a vertical stand mode, perhaps that'd be something to recommend it, because it is a more powerful device than some of the others. It's on a par. It did do some benchmarks between them. The processor, the Dimensity, I think is it 900? The Dimensity chip in there is good, and it's just as good as the 8 series Snapdragon in this here as well. So I'm still not sure. I will do a bit more content featuring this keyboard case, but after I've had a bit more time to evaluate it. But I think the signs are quite good on that. I quite enjoyed that first look at it just there, as you probably could tell.